Hello ladies and gentlemen, here is another quick video. Hopefully I'll be able to get it under 5 minutes, I don't know though. But I just played a really great game on ladder against Storm, probably the first game in a very long time. And I remember someone was asking me about, oh look, I got shave. Alright, someone was asking me about how to deal with Templar and if I could make a video on that. And even though I only have one replay, I think this replay will do a good job to illustrate what you should be doing against Storm. ... So, starting the replay off here, just to jump into the game, it's cross positions TvP on Frost. I took a little bit of economic damage against a Blink Stalker play early on, but I was able to stabilize. And now this Protoss player, he is doing a 9 gate, yeah, 9 gates, not 10, 9 gate, big attack. He's saving up Chrono boosts, so he's going to Chrono out an extra round. He has Storm as well, he has Charge and Blink, and he has 0 upgrades. So this is a very powerful attack. He has, I should zoom in for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting those as 2 storms each by the time that he gets to this area. So, going into the game, I get really, well, not even that lucky, but it's more sloppy on the Protoss' part to show those Zealots like that. So now I'm like, well, like, if he's playing a macro game, then he would only be using the Stalkers to control the Watchtower, but he was very sloppy, and he let me see the charge lots. So now I know something's up. And then this Marine also sees a High Templar as well. And if a High Templar is past the 3rd base at this timing, it's going to be an all-in. Well, not really an all-in. Well, I guess an all-in. But he tries to expand off of it. But it's really an all-in because you can't expand off of this kind of an attack. Otherwise, you just get stomped later on because I have the double upgrades. He has 0 upgrades right now. And I have a 3rd command center, which I'm not using right now. But I'm in a good position to, if he doesn't completely kill me or almost kill me, then I will be able to bounce back into the game. So I'm putting down a lot of bunkers because against these kinds of attacks, you need bunkers to kind of hold against storms. Otherwise your units just get shredded. So even though I have the bunkers, these storms still do a crazy amount of damage. But the bunkers do keep me alive. Like, that's the first thing that you need to defend against storm attacks. And they are also really good against storm attacks as well. Another cool thing is when you have a bunker, like, they're going to die. You can't really SCV repair them. But what you can do is select a bunker and then target different High Templars. So, like, right now I'm targeting this High Templar. I selected the bunker and then I just right-clicked onto the High Templar. And that's a really good way of, like, kind of shooting down the High Templar. You want to lower their storm count. Not their High Templar count, you want to lower their storm count, the amount of available storms that they have to use. So by killing High Templars, that accomplishes this goal. Also, by dodging storms, that also accomplishes this goal. And the big saving grace in this battle for me was that he didn't bring his Mothership Core. He was trying to play a macro game, so the Mothership Core was being used here for Photon Overcharge, which he used against my Widowmine drop. So it did come in handy. So as a result, he doesn't have high ground vision of this area. And so I'm able to keep a couple units here. And he's bringing an Observer too. Yeah, his Observer is going to be coming here, but it's going to be too late. It's like, these units have bought me an incredible amount of time because he can't storm onto the high ground like that. And then I have the rest of my units here. And just this positioning is really good for me because we'll see that he tries to bring his Zealots into my mineral line, but the Zealots kind of just get the priority goes to these Marines and Marauders over here. And so the Zealots end up doing no damage to my mineral line. And these units here and these units here, they're designed to kill as many High Templar as possible. So, like, this is kind of the buffer between the High Templar storms and my army right here. So, like, he uses a storm there. I'm able to, like, kill a couple High Templar, which is really good, and his zealots aren't able to do any damage over here because of where my units are at. Like, they can't, you have to like hold position, and even then I can still gun them down really easily. And now he's trying to take his third base. He has done a lot of damage. The game is, I would say it's in my favor just because I have better upgrades and a better infrastructure than him right now. And these units, like, they were just pivotal for me to hold this. I guess to translate into High Templar defense, you just can't attack these units without vision. And even if you have vision, you can easily just move away and waste a storm over here. It's basically like a bunker that can't die because of the vision. He still has a bunch of High Templar left, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll count that as 1. So 7. He still has 7 storms left. That's a ridiculous amount of storms against 19 Marines, 14 Marauders, and 8 Medevacs. So the main thing you want to do with your army is to split it up. So I have a group here, a group here, a group here, a group here, and then a group here. It might be overkill to spread those 2 groups out, but it's better to have them pre-spread just in case he tries to bust through. And like, he's even warping in a couple more High Templars, so and they have storms too. So he has 9 storms. So it's essential to split up your units, pre-spread them up. Think of High Templar as kind of mobile banelings, and that they're not melee range. They're kind of like ranged banelings, and the storms are things like the storms is like the banelings detonating, so you kind of have to like kite against that. So it kind of looks similar to a TvZ in the way that my army is pre-spread, my bio units, and that's all to make sure that his High Templars don't do a lot of damage to me. This proving oh so important to my hold. Now I'm just like, even though I can't get the Templar, picking off a Stalker is a good trade. The priority is High Templar, Sentry, and then Stalker, like in order of how much gas it costs, because gas is the limiting factor in this matchup. So like there I try to pick up another Stalker. But I do have a good enough defensive positioning, and he does pull back to try to kill my third, but I didn't invest heavily into it, so I didn't lose any SCVs, just 3 mules, which is not the biggest deal, because I don't want to mine out my 2 bases right now really fast. So that bought me an important amount of time to move out. And now like I can put my Widow Mines in a much better positioning. My army is able to kind of like, I no longer have to fight in this choke. I can fight kind of more in this open ground. That's what I was aiming for here. And once again, I was trying to like, I target down High Templars. Like, you always want to have a small group of units split off. Like maybe like 2 Marauders, 1 Marine, 3 Marauders. Never pure Marines. You always want like at least a couple Marauders and like 1 or 2 Marines at most to kill a High Templar. So I'll just point it out in this battle. So if you take a look at those High Templars, and then I'll have like this small group of units right there. They target that High Templar, and like I'm able to kill that High Templar, and that's 2 storms down the drain without him even firing. So that's completely worth it. And that's what you need to be doing the entire battle as well. It's kind of like I do a larger group there. I'm still able to snipe off 2 more High Templars, and now he doesn't really have any storms left. He has 1 storm left, and like 1 storm compared to the 10 storms he had at the beginning of the attack means that I've essentially held this attack off because he no longer has any splash damage to back it up. He knows this too, so he's going to back up. Once again, I snipe another High Templar off really nicely. Just those small snipes really add up. Like, that's 1 less High Templar that he has that is going to be building up energy as well for a later push. So it kind of is a snowball effect as well. So that was the first battle. And then there's another big battle. I'll just do X2 because X4 might lag too much. Oops. Alright, so This game has essentially stabilized. The upgrades are almost even. I'm going to be 2-2, so I'm going to have a 2 upgrade advantage. Our supplies are fairly even as well. And here comes the next battle. It's important that like I apply pressure here and try to trade away his army, because as soon as he gets colossi out, he has 0 out currently, but he's researching colossi tech. He can do that because he's on 3 bases. It's going to become a lot more dangerous to engage into this army, because these small groups of units no longer work if you have colossi beams shredding them apart. So like here, I have just a small group stimmed ahead. It's mostly to like get the zealots to charge on you now, and then the widow mines can just soak up the zealots. And then if you're lucky and he has high templars out of positions, you can kind of snipe them. So it's just setting myself up to be in a good position. But something like this, like all the zealots are kind of just like surrounding the marauders, and then this widow mine's just going to go off and do a bunch of damage to a ton of zealots. And then another small group of units just stimming forward. This is a bit larger because I can no longer snipe High Templar on my own. Now I'm aiming to bait out storms and snipe zealots because of this kind of a death ball. The High Templar in a safe enough position where you can't snipe them down immediately. So now my focus is the zealots and forcing out storms like that. And like a storm onto those units, even though I went back in, still a good storm, or still a good trade for me. And now he's kind of like going in, he has a bunch of storms. Immediately, like, my units weren't pre-spread because I was being under attack over here. And he has a warp prism somewhere, yeah, and that hasn't come into play yet. But I was under attack here, so that's why my units weren't pre-spread. The importance of pre-spread, though, like, it's so important that in this battle right now, I immediately start spreading out my units. I don't even stim them yet. I just immediately start walking them outside of the range of storms. And that kind of helps save me a little bit. And then I'm going in again. And now, now I stimmed. Because it's really important to save your stims until a good opportunity. Because if I stim too fast, then he wouldn't have been baited to like attack my army and use up more storms. But really, this battle, like now that I have stim, and now that I stimmed, he's kind of just backing up because he can no longer attack me. So that's why I delayed the stim for so long against these High Templar. And then, not good walking into a storm like that. It's never. Storms don't taste good. They taste worse than liquor. But I did get 2 High Templar. But now I'm behind in supply. So I don't want to focus too much on the game. I just want to focus mainly on the engagements here. So this Doom Drop. Oh. This was a very interesting game that I played. And this is where okay, so he split up his army. It looks kind of like a good split right now. He has like half of his army here, a couple High Templar, some colossi, and some of his gateway army, and he has a lot of High Templar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He has 9 storms. So like this Protoss player has like about 10 storms at any given moment in the game. So that's pretty scary to deal with. But it's like that's what a good Protoss player is going to have against you. Like when they're macroing right and he's kind of spending his money, not really, but he has plenty of money to remake his splash units. So right here, like this is a much more manageable composition to deal with, and that was because I was able to pull him out of position here. It's okay to lose all of these units because I know I'm gonna get good trades off over here. So beforehand, when he had the big death ball of High Templar units here, I had to stim a larger group forward to hit his High Templar. In this group, when there's no charge lots and there's really no damage except the High Templar, he has more High Templar than gateway units, then that's when you can stim like a couple Marauders forward and start sniping off the High Templars themselves. Or even just killing any units. Like, if I kill that full energy Sentry, that's good. If I kill the Stalker, it's still good. If I kill the High Templar, obviously, that's good. And he kind of like messes this up. But like, even though he stormed all my units, he just didn't have anything else, so I'm just able to tank through the storms, and I still end up killing all of his stuff. So that was a very good trade for me, killing like, that was about 10 storms worth of High Templar. And you don't want to think of High Templar in terms of gas loss, you want to think of it in terms of how much how many storms are available. So like now he has 1, 2, 3. He's about to have 5 storms soon, because as soon as he gets below like 3 storms, then you can just kill his army because the High Templar no longer have the splash damage available to them. So that's why a Protoss player always needs like 5 to 10 storms at any given moment in the game. Able to kind of snipe off another high energy Templar. I'll go back a bit. That was a bit risky by me. I should have just used a small army instead. Oh, and this Nexus snipe is what kind of wins me the game, because now he has no economy. His main base is mined out. His natural's going to be mined out soon, and I have mules. So that's kind of like what ended the game for him. Alright, right here. This High Templar, it's a juicy High Templar. I should have just stimmed a few units here, but I didn't. This is kind of like an example of bad play. Like, I thought I could maybe get him because his army control, he didn't seem that on top of his army control, so I thought I could maybe just snipe that High Templar and then back away. But that was really lazy of me. I could have accomplished the same thing and just had like 3 Marauders and a Marine stimmed, and then stormed as well to kill that High Templar. So that was kind of just like bad. Like, that's the kind of storm you don't want to get, and you avoid that by using smaller amounts of units. And now, like, I can't even engage here. Oh, I actually lose attention because of, I think, those Zealots. I thought I cleaned them up, but then I actually didn't. Right here, I just bait him into a couple more Widow Mines. Get some nice shots off. Those Widow Mines are going to die soon, so I just want to get a little bit more cost efficiency out of them. This third base, also keeping me alive, really nice. Like, it was a very, I guess, crazy game. Very back and forth, but now, even though like I'm gonna be up in army supply, he has dangerous colossi High Templar composition. Well, he's gonna have it soon as he spends his gas. So when he has that, that's when the army becomes significantly harder to fight. Like, you 100% need Vikings. You're probably gonna start needing ghosts. This game, I didn't get ghosts because I was really far ahead economically. I have 1 base mining. I have 2 base mining. I'm about to have a 3rd base mining soon. He only has 1 healthy base, so like my income is a lot better. He's not even mining in his natural anymore. I'm not either, because it's 26 minutes into the game. So at this point, I know like I have a much larger economy, and if I just max out on pure bio, I'm gonna be able to overwhelm him. That's why I don't get ghosts. But in an even game, if we were on equal bases and equal economy, then I would have 100% needed to get Ghost Viking to deal with this composition. Because he has, okay, so once again, let's take a look at the storm count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he's about to get like 5 more storms. So he has a very healthy storm count. And he also has 3 colossi with range as well. So they're going to snipe any of my small bio attempts to like bait his units out. So that's why I'm starting to make Vikings to kind of get rid of his colossi. I noticed that all he had for anti-air was a Sentry, an Archon, and a Stalker, and then of course Storms. So that's why I kind of moved my Vikings over to like get rid of the colossi before they actually do damage. Once again, I have my units pre-spread, and this is kind of an interesting battle how it goes out, because he obviously wants to storm my units. He's kind of ignoring just like the small groups of units. You don't want to storm them, and these units end up staying alive and like dealing some damage back to the High Templars, which is pretty interesting. Like, see, those 2 Marauders are picking at that High Templar with max storm. But mostly, like, you need to have your army pre-spread because you can't spread them fast enough after a storm actually lands. Then you've taken too much damage already. So once again, I'm pre-spreading, and it's kind of like similar to how you pre-spread versus Banelings. Like, he lost a lot of High Templars there. There was no way I was going to be able to trade cost efficiently unless I could just EMP all of his units, which I didn't because I didn't have any ghosts. But he's like, storms are just so scary. I was able to thin out his colossi count though, and he only has 1 colossi now. And he was at a point where he had like 8 storms, he was about to get 5 more. Now he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 storms, and he doesn't have any on the way because he is completely broke. So now that I've been able to like kind of reduce his splash damage, I can kind of just like this small group of units to like stim forward and kind of like, I usually target down archons and try to weaken their shields because they're always in the front tanking damage. But now that like he only has 1 colossi, he only has some storm, his gateway army is pretty small. I can kind of now use this kind of like small bioforce and poke ahead. Like I targeted that archon. Like now that's pretty much yeah, that's a dead archon. And then I target another, well, not really, but notice how the archons both have like half health right now. Their shields are almost gone, and that's basically like the equivalent of an EMP. And now like small group of units to kill off High Templar. Like that was he didn't even get a storm off, so he didn't trade cost efficiently at all. And then like again that small group of units. This time I stim because I know like after his army's dead I win the game, so I want to kind of force him to take an engagement, and then that is game because he no longer has an economy to keep up. But kind of like just the spreading out part is the main point that I want to highlight. You'd never want to be clumped up. If you are, then you are just gonna eat storms. That's not gonna be fun. Like this clumping up is okay because his High Templar are out of range, so I want to kind of kite the zealots a bit. But this no longer works after he gets a scary unit composition, and he almost had that in this game. He almost had like 4 colossi and a bunch of High Templars. The only reason why I was able to beat that was because I had a better economy than him, and so I could kind of chip away at his army slightly cost inefficiently. But when he gets this kind of a unit composition, you need Ghost Viking in like a normal type game. Because like even though like I'm ahead a lot of supply and I'm supply blocked, I should be maxed out right now. I still am not able to completely roll him over, even with 50 supply, more than twice an army size. Like the storms are just really strong. And like even though I did my best to kite them, the fact that he has colossi to back it up means that the small groups of units kind of get shredded apart really easily. And I'll just go through that battle on faster one more time, because like that's kind of like the best you'll be able to ever get out of versing a colossi Templar composition by dodging storms, and it just doesn't work out very well. Even though I have my units pre-spread, you can't really spread them out anymore, otherwise the colossi just eat them up. Like I'm spreading and I'm dodging storms as much as I can, but even then it's not enough to kill off his army, it's just enough to thin it out. So this is really when like this tactic starts to become ineffective, is when he starts to get colossi out on the field. But as long as he has a normal High Templar group and he doesn't have any colossi yet, even if he's like transitioning into colossi, then using small groups of units, always having your units pre-spread, will be able to like thin out the High Templar storm count and then win the game, because the bio will just roll over the Protoss army after all of his splash is gone. Darn, 24 minutes, but still shorter than my other ones. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I still have a lot of games to go over. Like, I really want to go do an analysis of Maro's games. I heard that he played mech against Targa, so I'm really interested to watch them. I haven't gotten a chance to see them, but I've been waiting for a mech game to go over for a really long time now. So hopefully the game will be good, and it's a game that I'm looking forward to watch and hopefully analyze as well. Alright, adios guys. See you later.